toll on the marriage. And she said, I just think probably be best if we, and of course it couldn't have come at a worse time. I was trying to win, the fifth title, and I had planned to retire, honestly, with the fifth title. And, my dog died, and then shit, 2 days later I tore my bicep, in the gym, which was a freak accident. I never knew it was torn. I walked into the show, and of course I lost to Phil Heath, and, my life was kind of upside down. And I questioned for the first time in my life, like, shit, is this, where is my life going at this time? And then, of course, the end of the year, my contract was expiring with Muscle Tech, and, they gave me the option to renew, but it was for, a substantially less amount of money than I was making. But that was actually before the contest. So at the time, they had made me a kind of an offer that I was disappointed with, even when I was still Mr. Olympia. And I thought, okay, I'm going to win the Olympia, win the fifth title, and I'll be able to negotiate a little more. And that didn't happen. That, of course, I lost. And, but I chose to walk away from the whole deal. And, at the time, I wanted to start my own stuff. And I figured, okay, I was, in a financial position to do so. So I did that at the end of the year. But, and then, I toyed around in the supplement market a little bit, and then got linked up with BPI in 2012 and started a partnership with them, who, that's what gave me kind of a new life and what I do. And, of course, Cutler Nutrition was born after that. But I came back in 13, which I did it for the fans because I wanted to compete healthy. I went back and and kind of just, rekindled the relationship with Chris Aceto, and that was another reason I wanted to finish my career with Chris, because, he was, one of my best friends for such a long time and pretty much family. And I knew that would be my last one, was 13, and I wanted to do it the right way. And I had fun getting ready for it. It was honestly the most fun Olympia I've ever had competing in, because for the first time in my career, I felt no pressure, and I really didn't give a shit about anything but getting on stage and being with the fans. And you could see my excitement when I got up there and I was able to compete. But yeah, I was a smaller version of what I ever was. But shoot, everything was going great in my life by that time. I mean, I had been, traveling crazy with BPI and, starting the Cutler Nutrition brand and all that stuff. So it was just, I was enjoying life for the first time, being a bodybuilder, because I was so rigid and so strict through my whole career. For the first time, I was able to have some sort of balance and be able to enjoy it a little bit. So it's pretty cool.
And you mentioned, the breakup of your marriage. Obviously, everyone knows you were with Kerry since you guys were kids. I mean, essentially, you grew up together. Was that a difficult breakup? I mean, because we all know that, bodybuilding at the elite level, you have to travel every weekend, and it sounds glamorous to the fans, but it's not glamorous sometimes. It is tough on the people that you have relationships with, the people that you love, because how do you explain to them, yeah, I'm never here, I'm gone every single weekend, there's never a weekend I can never be with you. That's tough. I know that. I've experienced that myself, and a lot of other top guys have. Do you feel that the bodybuilding lifestyle ended your marriage?
I think being Mr. Olympia, it was a sacrifice that I had to deal with in choosing to be who Jay Cutler is and traveling as much as I did. Because I remember the conversation that really triggered our decision. And remember, it was mutual. It wasn't just one-sided, and there was no reasons. I know there's a lot of I never really discussed it. This is the first time I really discussed it live on camera. But I remember she sat down. We were sitting in the living room here at the house I'm in now in Vegas, and she said, "Jay, is it ever going to stop?" And I said, "Care, it's not going to stop, because this is now what it is. I mean, it's a brand. It's, I'm in the supplement game. I'm in the clothing company. I promote shows, and I'm still in demand for guest appearances." And, she thought, okay, when I retired, it was going to be like, okay, we're going to take vacations and we're going to sip wine for dinner every night and everything else, which, that really wasn't my thing. And, and she agreed, and I agreed, like, listen, we've done a lot of great things together. You're the best friend I've ever had. I moved her out of her house when she was 18. She came to live with me. We started, together. She worked 2 jobs so I could be a bodybuilder in the beginning. and eventually, I put her through nursing school. She became a nurse practitioner. I supported her. She works still as a nurse practitioner. We are super, super close. We speak every single day. I saw her yesterday. She is still, probably the number one supporter of my career and the positive things that happen in my life. And we're always going to remain that. And that's one thing, the fans aren't really necessarily aware of because she's not in the videos in the day-to-day life. But, when you grow up as kids together and you're such good friends and you're partners in a lot of things, you expect those things. We didn't have a terrible breakup. I hate to tell people, but it was like the best divorce ever because, we were mutually, I remember signing divorce papers with her in 2012 and going out to dinner after, that's kind of rare. You don't get that. But she's happily doing her thing now. I think she's drinking those wine dinners, and she's playing tennis competitively now, and she's still working as a nurse practitioner. So, I'm really happy for her, and she's actually being, Carrie Cutler now, who she wants to be, and not just Jay Cutler's wife. I think, which is always hard, when your husband's the star in what he does, it does take a lot from the relationship, but luckily we can maintain still, the respect and the admiration of what each other has done and accomplished. So it was hard. It was hard, but my end game now is much greater than I ever expected. I'm happier than I've ever been. We didn't have children, so it was easy, for that. She still has the one dog we did have left because the other two had passed away back-to-back years. Scrappy, the oldest one, died when he was 18 in 2012, which was really, really hard because that's the little dog that was in the videos with me all the time. But she has three other dogs now, so she's got 4 over there. I call it the family zoo over there, She still lives in Vegas, so.
Jay, do you want to get married sometime and have a family of your
own? I think about that. I'm not against getting married or, whatever happens. Listen, I'm 42 years old. It's not too late. But it's just the demanding lifestyle of what I do. I'm busier than I've ever been, Dave. I'm out there. Does anyone travel as much as Jay Cutler these days? Probably not. And it's a choice. I could give up a lot of this stuff, but my main focus right now is Cutler Nutrition. We have a lot of great things going on. I'm in a huge opportunity partnership with BPI Sports, who have been very, very great. James Grage and Derek Ettinger have been, my partners and supported me since 2012. Derek, and I met, and we were able to come up with a plan. And I think, Derek, as crazy as people may think he is, he's one of the smartest guys I know as far as, building a brand and really, he does a lot of the background and the formulations for a lot of products. And, we have a big year planned, 2016, Cutler Nutrition, especially internationally. And Dave, you're in the supplement business. A lot of our international business is key. And Jay Cutler, name is huge over there. So that gives me a huge opportunity to travel, which I never did a lot in my career, to be honest, when I was competing, to do international travel. So each month I have a trip planned over there. I have heavy distribution. I have the launch of the new Legend pre-workout, which is the strongest pre-workout in the market right now. It's going to blow people's minds. And it's gaining a lot of notoriety now. It's going to be launched on January 10th. So I'm really excited about that. And that's going to be the main product this year that we're pushing, because I always said from the very beginning, what do people want? And they want a product that's really give them, blow their mind as far as, pre-workouts are kind of where it's at. So it's been cool to be able to now focus the new year on this launch, and this is what I'm doing here the next few weeks. I go to Brazil next week. I'll be at the Fit Expo. Then I do my military visits. I'm in military bases every month. Everyone knows how important those military visits are to me, because my brother and my father, my stepfather, my mother, everyone was in the service, in the Army. So I have a lot of respect for those guys, and I'm focused now. All you guys, military guys out there watching this video, I plan on hitting the bases once again every single month, all the way through 2016. So I want to thank you guys for your support and fighting for our freedom. I would love to do some international visits also if it's possible, but that's my main focus in 2016.
Johnny Styles is waving his hand. He wants a free jug, so you might have to send him one.
Wow.
I got a Chris Aceto question here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is Jay Cutler a better businessman or a better bodybuilder?
That's a good question. I'll say this without arrogance. Jay Cutler's the greatest bodybuilder of all time, and the greatest businessman of all time. But I attribute a lot of my business sense to Chris Aceto. And anyone that knows Chris, you guys know him as a friend and family over there at RX Muscle. Chris is one of the smartest guys I know. Chris has a lot of diversity in what he does. Chris isn't a nutritionist. He's a family man. I mean, he's a landlord. I hate to say that. I'm gonna call him a real estate mogul. And if anyone knew how many times he's a landlord to so many people, they'd be blown away, because people don't know that side of Chris Aceto. But Chris is the cheapest guy I know, as far as not in a bad sense, but Chris saves and saves and saves and saves. And let me tell you, Chris Aceto has a lot of rainy days he's prepared for. And that rubbed off on me. I mean, I may live an extravagant lifestyle now, but I can, Chris.
All right, last question. Where do you see, Jay, this sport of bodybuilding being in 5-10 years from now? Will it be better? Will it diminish because of the advent of these physique divisions? Where do you see it? Because I don't see the level of bodybuilding being better than it was.
It's not as good now, and I'm not speaking as a disgruntled former competitor at the Mr. Olympia, but it definitely, it had its competitive. I mean, I think even before my time, it was a little more competitive, to be honest. But I see men's physique. I see this new classic. I mean, we're so premature, but as a promoter, it's an awesome opportunity for me to see these guys and have options for these guys to compete. That's the coolest part about it. Is now these guys. I had 3 guys come up to me in the gym today that are competing in the Jay Cutler Desert Classic physique division. So I think that's a huge opportunity. It's going to give anyone and everyone a chance to compete. But I think it will diminish the size of the bodybuilders. And not to say that bodybuilding will diminish, but I think the quality, you'll see a lot of guys tend to stick towards more classic instead of getting so big. Because I always said, I mean, we got too big, man. There was no question. We were pushed to be bigger. Everyone seemed to set a standard, and it seemed like that guy won. Listen, everyone can't be Big Ramy. Big Ramy just is just out of this world, a genetic wonder. We laugh about it all the time, but there's always someone in their basement somewhere training that's going to come out of the woodwork that's going to be just absolutely mind-boggling when they show up. And Big Ramy was one of those guys. So if you try to chase Big Ramy, if he ends up winning the Mr. Olympia, which I think he surely could at some point, a lot of guys are in trouble because they can't duplicate that no matter what their genetics are. It's just like Phil Heath. I mean, he's got the round muscle bellies and whatever else, but listen, everyone eventually has to fall, whether they fall because they retire or they fall because they're defeated. And we're going to see the trends switch towards more classical rather than going for the overall size, because listen, only so many people can finance themselves to be able to eat like machines all day and live the lifestyle. The money's definitely gone down in the endorsements and the sponsorships because we haven't been able to go outside the box. We're relying still on supplement companies and clothing companies within it, the tanning companies, all the things that fall within sports nutrition. That's what the hard part, and that's why we can't have the financial return and get the huge endorsements until the mainstream sponsors come in. And I think that eventually we could get some mainstream appeal with the classics and those kind of things, because it's universal, and these guys can go into acting. They can go into more commercial things because, listen, bodybuilders are restrictive. That you get in shape for a show and then you blow up 40, 50 pounds. Some of these guys, you're not going to be in that kind of condition. With these other guys, I think These guys are walking around genetically, be able to walk on stage and not have to do a lot to really manipulate their physiques. So it's a great opportunity. It's huge for all of us. We have to just embrace it, support it, and really just look at it as an aspect where it's health and fitness. I don't care what people say. People say, "Oh, Jay, bodybuilding's not healthy." Listen, man, we're in the health and fitness market. We sell supplements, we take supplements, we go to shows, we compete. I mean, we all want to look the part. To me, that's health and fitness.
Well, Jay, I want to thank you for being so honest and forthright with us, and really just opening up your life to us, and putting it out there, because I think the fans, myself included, really enjoyed this historical perspective of your life, and really, where you're going. I think that you still have the best ahead of you. It's interesting. It's hard to stop competing. I know I did it. I know a lot of other people that have trouble, but once you do, it's kind of like new doors open for you, and you kind of see a whole new life. And it seems like you're at that point right now.
You know what? It's a blessing. I mean, I'm extremely happy. I'm back training, consistently. I've been, doing a lot of different media stuff, Snapchat, what else, but. I look forward to seeing you guys at the show. I look forward to seeing all the fans at the trade shows, especially internationally this year. We have a big year ahead. Anytime you guys want to do an interview, make sure you come find me. I always love to see Johnny, man. I know Johnny's my #1 fan over there. So, Johnny, I got some Legend Pro for you, buddy. Don't worry.
Jay, good luck with Jay Cutler Nutrition, and thanks for the interview, and we'll be in touch.
Guys, we'll talk soon. Thank you so much, and thank you all the fans around the world that watch this.
All right, and that takes us to the end of another episode of Live With. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.